Have you ever stopped to think about why a can of Coke in Japan is so much smaller than one in the US, or why the McDonald's menu in India is, well, completely different from the one in France? Turns out it's not an accident at all. Today, we're unpacking the really smart marketing strategy that explains why your favorite global brands act like total locals.
All right, let's dive right in with one of the world's biggest brands. They make a fascinating choice that gets right to the heart of what we're talking about.
So, on the left, you've got the pumpkin spice latte. You know it, it's basically a cultural event in the US every fall. But then, on the right, you see what Starbucks offers in China, a red bean frappuccino. Just think about that for a second. It's the same iconic brand, same green logo, but two totally different signature drinks. What's going on here?
It really makes you wonder, right? This is the exact same company, but it feels like they're operating in completely different worlds. How are they doing this? And more importantly, why are they doing it?
Well, spoiler alert, this is not random. It's actually a deliberate and incredibly powerful strategy. So let's pull back the curtain and give this thing a name. The secret, the answer to our puzzle, is a marketing approach called Geographic Segmentation. This is the key that unlocks why brands look so different depending on where you are in the world.
So what is it exactly? Well, in plain English, it's the process of splitting up a market by location. We could be talking countries, regions, or even different neighborhoods in the same city. And the goal is pretty simple. Serve customers better by customizing everything, the products, the prices, the ads, all based on what people in that specific place actually want and need.
So how do companies actually pull this off? Let's take a look at their playbook. It's really all about slicing up the map based on a few key factors.
Marketers basically use 5 different lenses to look at the world. They look at the region, the climate, whether it's urban or rural, the population density, and maybe the most important of all, the local culture. So let's break each of these down.
First up, region. This is about targeting a specific country, a state, or city. For example, when Starbucks went into India, they knew one thing for sure: chai is king. So instead of just pushing their standard Americano and latte menu, they created a masala chai latte, tapping directly into a taste that people there already knew and loved. Smart.
Next is climate, which sounds kind of obvious, but it is so powerful. You're just not going to sell a lot of heavy winter parkas during a sweltering summer in Mumbai. That's when you'll see ads for Magnum ice cream everywhere instead. It really illustrates a basic rule of marketing: you can't sell something people don't need right now.
Then you've got the urban versus rural divide. And this often comes down to money and lifestyle. In rural Indian villages, where every rupee counts, Nestle sells these tiny single-serving Maggi noodle packets for just 5 rupees. But walk into a supermarket in Mumbai, and you'll find these big 50-rupee multi-packs aimed at busy city families. It's the same product, but with totally different packaging and pricing.
Population density is absolutely crucial, especially for any kind of service business. Think about food delivery apps like Swiggy and Zomato. They are everywhere in a dense city like Bangalore, because you have enough customers and restaurants packed together to make the whole thing work. But that business model completely falls apart in a village where houses are spread far apart. For delivery, density is destiny.
And finally, we get to the big one: culture. Local tastes, traditions, holidays, this stuff is everything. Lay's didn't just dump their American potato chip flavors in India. They listened. They created magic masala specifically for the Indian palate, and you know what? It became a massive bestseller. That's the power of respecting local culture.
Okay, so we've seen how these brands adapt, but why go to all this trouble? Well, because when they get this right, it gives them a huge advantage.
It really boils down to 4 major wins. First, relevance. You're actually speaking the local language, selling something people want. Second, efficiency. You stop wasting money advertising winter coats on a tropical beach. Third, sales. Of course, people are way more likely to buy something that feels like it was made just for them. And finally, expansion. All this data helps you figure out where to go next.
Now for the really fun part. Let's take a quick trip around the world to see some of the biggest names on the planet putting this exact playbook into action.
Okay, check out Coca-Cola. In the Middle East, their formula is actually sweeter to match local taste preferences. Over in Japan, where apartments are smaller and people often eat and drink alone, they sell smaller single-serving cans. And get this, in parts of Mexico, Coke is famously cheaper than bottled water, a pricing strategy based entirely on the local economy.
Or how about the fashion giant Zara? If you walk into a store in Dubai, it'll be stocked with modest fashion, longer sleeves, more coverage. But then, fly to Barcelona that same week and the racks are filled with crop tops and beachwear. Same brand, completely different closets.
And even a tech titan like Amazon has to play the local game. In big Indian cities, they can offer same-day delivery, but in rural areas where that's just not possible, they came up with a brilliant solution. They partnered with thousands of local corner stores called Kiranas to act as pickup points. It's a total win-win. Amazon gets a massive delivery network, and the local shopkeeper gets more customers walking in the door. It's a global giant thinking like a neighborhood partner.
Okay, so after seeing all that, what is the big takeaway here? How does knowing this give you a new kind of marketing X-ray vision?
I think this quote from our source material just says it all perfectly. If your billboard in Chennai is identical to your billboard in Kashmir, you're doing it wrong. I mean, if you're treating two places with completely different cultures, climates, and economies as if they're the same, you're just not paying attention.
And that's the real lesson here, isn't it? Geography isn't just a pin on a map. It's really shorthand for a person's entire world, their culture, their weather, how much money is in their wallet, and their entire way of life.
So I'll leave you with this question to chew on. Now that you have this marketing X-ray vision, just look around you today. What's that one product you see all the time that is so perfectly designed for your specific town or city that it just wouldn't make any sense anywhere else in the world? Trust me, once you start looking, you'll see it everywhere.